The Alpha Sessions with Emma Joyce.
Well, I'm here with Megan Black, and hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
I wanted to chat to you a little bit about last year's single that you released in 2020, Hang Out to Dry. What's it about?
So that song for me, it started off just being, I don't know if anybody else gets this, but whenever I try and write a song, it always starts because I'm like one of these people that gets a song stuck in their head for like 2 weeks straight, and I had this like, stuck in my head. Um, the lyrics themselves were about kind of addiction, and I suppose the influence that someone else's addiction can have on the people around them as well. So I suppose the idea of kind of leaving someone to hang out dry, like just kind of almost giving up hope with them. So yeah, it's quite a depressing subject, but it's kind of focused on addiction and mental health. So
it sounds like it's quite a raw and emotional song. And I was wondering, is that based on a personal experience or someone you know, or?
Yeah, well, I think in the music scene in general, there's quite a lot of I suppose kind of I don't know quite the word, but there's kind of sort of blurred boundaries when it comes to what's acceptable and what's not. So a lot of the people that I meet, for example, like will take drugs and stuff, and it's kind of normalized. But for me, it does stem from a kind of personal experience as well of kind of family members and things like that, and just kind of not knowing what's best for them or best for other people. So yeah.
The fact that it's so raw, did it feel weird when you released it, like out into the big wide world?
Yeah, I mean, I think it always feels weird releasing anything into the big bad world because you never know what's going to happen. Like it's just a weird thing. But yeah, no, I think for me, like we released it, I think I want to say it was April, I'm not too sure, so like last year, so it was during lockdown as well, which was quite strange because it's a different response than if you like launch a night for it and things like that and sell tickets. So
yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's cool. In terms of like, what did you do different to make the single a thing? Because obviously you couldn't do the normal, exactly like you said, night or whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember what I did. I think I played it live, like on social media. When it was released, but off the top of my head, I can't really remember what I did. It was something like that, like a kind of virtual sort of people being able to stream it. But other than that, it was kind of wasn't the same as a normal release at all.
Yeah, I can imagine. What artists have got you through the last year?
That's a good question. There's been quite a few. One artist I mention him every single time I do anything like this, but have you heard of the band Talking Heads before?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so the lead singer David Byrne, like I love Talking Heads so much, but he's now doing a solo career and he's kind of like old and grey now, and he did like a Broadway production of one of his albums. It's really cool. It's called American Utopia. So
what's it called? Say again.
American Utopia.
Okay.
Sorry,
no, I'm gonna make a note.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so good. So I think that was more sort of like an inspiration in terms of like projects that I find so cool because he just everything about it's so well designed and put together. So I suppose him because he's just an inspiration always. Quite a lot of local musicians to me as well. So yeah, there's been a lot of people working on projects like their own sort of stuff and releasing things or collaborating on things. It's been quite cool, but there's too many people to name. I always end up forgetting at least one person if I do it. But for example, there's a local musician that I met through doing gigs called Jen Ella, and she released a song called Lipstick Queen, which I really loved. So that was cool. But yeah, there's too many to count, but she's one of them. So
but what song, if you're having an absolute mare of a day and you think, I need something to totally cheer me up, what song would you put on? What
I
gets
don't know. It just depends. It depends what kind of day. I don't know. I suppose one that I was listening to quite a lot was it's actually just called Lazy, but I always call it Wicked and Lazy. And that's a David Byrne song that he played as part of this, and it's like a live stream one, and it's just amazing. So listen to that. Like the lyrics are so opposite of what you're trying to achieve. Like you want to feel happy, but it's a good song. So yeah, probably that.
You did an excellent cover for us of Lady Gaga's Edge of Glory. How come you chose to cover that one?
I want to say I'd seen Lady Gaga record, so she had a documentary out. I'm a big fan of Gaga, like not as much her style of music, like it borders on being very poppy for me, like it's not something I would necessarily listen to, but I think she's so talented, and she's such like a kind of queer and female empowerment sort of influencer, and she's great. So I saw her documentary a while back where she performed her own song Bad Romance, and she'd kind of slowed it down with a piano.
The one on Netflix?
Yes.
I've seen that one too.
I can't remember what it's called. Yeah.
I can't remember. I think it might be called Edge of Glory, but I might have made that up.
Who knows?
Anyway.
I'm gonna go with that, right? But she released a version of her playing Bad Romance that was kind of slowed down and on a piano. So I just thought like Edge of Glory is a cool song. Like try it with that kind of thing.
She's so cool.
Yeah, I think so I think I tried it once on a night out, like somebody, like before lockdown, someone had a piano in their house, and I was like, I'm going to try this, and it didn't quite work out the way I wanted. So then when I got a chance to do it again, I was like, I'll try it and see. So yeah.
Should be alone tonight, yeah, baby. I got a reason that you should take me home tonight. I need someone that thinks it's right when it's so wrong tonight, yeah, baby. Right on the limits where we know we both belong tonight. It's hard to feel the rush, brush the dangerous. I'm gonna run right through to the edge with you, where we can both fall far in love. I'm on the edge of glory, and I'm hanging on a moment with you. I'm on the edge of glory, and I'm hanging on a moment of truth. I'm on the edge of the edge, the edge of the edge, the edge, the edge, I'm on the edge of glory, and I'm hanging on a moment with you. Another shot before we kiss the other side tonight, yeah, baby. Damn, it's something final we call life tonight. Put on your shades, I know you're dancing in the flames tonight, yeah, baby. It isn't hell if everybody knows my name tonight. It's hard to feel the rush, to brush the dangerous. I'm gonna run right through to the edge with you, where we can both fall far in love. But I'm on the edge of glory, another shot before we kiss the other side.
The Alpha Sessions with Emma Joyce.
You were listed as one of the top 5 singer-songwriters for your track in 2020 in Scotland. How did that feel?
That was so cool.
Yeah.
I think like when I first saw it, because I share my social media, like the editing things with the girl that manages me, Ellie, as well. Her name is Ellie Morrison. She's really cool. But I share it with her, and she's the one that kind of takes ownership for posting things on time, because I just forget. Like I can't do it. Like it's not for me. So I was scrolling, and I think I scrolled past it, and I was like, I'm in this. Like, whoa, that's cool. So that was really cool to be recognised for that, because I think because it was during lockdown, it did feel like it, not that it went unnoticed, but just like we were saying before, like there wasn't like a launch night or as big of
harder to promote.
Yeah, exactly. So that was really cool. That was a good day.
So yesterday I watched your video for Hang Out to Dry,
Mhm.
and it kind of blew my mind in a way that you showed the liquid and the plant. Was it coffee?
Wait, what?
Your video for Hang Out to Dry.
Oh, yeah, I totally get what you're talking about now.
I was watching it, I was like, this is so cool. What is that? So I was just wondering if you could talk us through it and talk to us a little bit about the meaning behind it as well.
Yeah, well, so with this video, we actually filmed it with Ellie's, like my manager's twin sister, who owns her own kind of film production thing. They're very, very good. They've won loads of awards and stuff recently.
Wow.
So we filmed it with her, and she kind of comes up with quite a lot of cool and creative ideas. And one of the things for me is, like, I'm a huge coffee drinker. Like, I just love it. Like, I just survive off of it. So we used kind of black paint just to give it that sort of like gothic-y-esque kind of look, and just put it in a coffee mug.
Really?
Yeah, there wasn't really much to it, but yeah, I couldn't, like, honestly, when you first said coffee, I was like, where was I drinking coffee?
Oh no, I got the wrong video.
No, totally. So it's yeah, she decided to use kind of, I think it was just black paint, and they just used it for different stuff. So it was pretty cool.
What was like the meaning behind pouring that over the plant?
I think it was just, first of all, for a kind of visual aesthetic, but also I can't remember which, I want to say it was sunflowers that we used, but I can't quite remember, or daffodils or something, some sort of like kind of bright, and I suppose like when you think of those kind of plants, you think of like the idea of like it being, there's like a positive attachment with them, and then we're pouring this like black over it, just like it's tainted with whatever's going on.
Yeah.
That's the sort of intelligent response to it, but to be honest, like we just like the idea of like the way it looked, but yeah, it was kind of the idea of like it destroys all these good things that are around you. So
obviously you're based in Scotland, and there have been so many iconic artists to come from Scotland that I can't even count them on one hand. Do you seek inspiration from that, or have you kind of like gone on completely your own road?
No, I totally seek inspiration from it. I think I'd say my music and stuff, I find it quite hard because there's a lot of Scottish musicians who are associated with being Scottish. Like, for example, like Jerry Cinnamon's like very distinctively Scottish. Whereas for me, I don't think that's what comes across. Like, I just kind of, I'm like a sort of drag queen, like floating about, like, I don't know. But I think definitely there's actually been a lot of Scottish musicians that have kind of risen up from where I actually come from in Scotland, which is West Lothian. So for example, Lewis Capaldi, he's from like, I think he says about like a 20-minute drive.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah, and I think he's great. Like he seems very humble, and he comes across really well. Like I'd only ever met him once at a gig when I was about 15, but it's cool to see people like that just kind of taking the world by storm and doing what they want to do, which is cool. So yeah, I think they're inspiring.
You play piano and guitar. Which one came first? That sounds like a
I
really
think
bad
it was
bit.
guitar. Yeah,
Sorry.
it does actually. I think it was guitar that came first. I remember joining a folk band. That was the first thing I did, so it would have been guitar.
And which, like, when you write, which ones you write on, or is it both?
I think it depends on the vibe that I'm going for, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when I wrote Fur Coat Queen, which was like the first song I wrote, like the first song I released, sorry. I wrote that one with piano. I tried to write it with guitar and it didn't have the same kind of feel. I've kind of changed it slightly because I've been playing it for so long. Like I wanted to try it with guitar, but when I first wrote it, like I feel like it had to be with piano. So
Her hair's like silk with little bits of silver. Well, only I could find them. And her wandering eyes send shivers down my spine. And baby, I can't hide them. The cold queen, I believe you've got a thing or two to teach me. And for cold queen, I believe you give me something more to say. Our timing ain't right, but baby, we both knew it never would have been perfect. When I told you that I loved you, I promised I wasn't trying to be selfish. Your eyes seem to sparkle a little bit more than anybody else's. And when I told you that I loved you, I promised I wasn't trying to be selfish.
The Alpha Sessions.
What's been the biggest challenge for you as a musician over the last year?
I don't know. I think for me, obviously, not having gigs is a big thing. It's a big
of course.
part of what you do. I think just like connecting with other musicians as well. Like I go to university in Edinburgh to study music, and all of our projects have to be online, which I found really difficult because it's like, yeah, it's just weird. Like you've never really met these people, and then you're like having to work on music with them without like meeting each other, or stuff like that's weird. But I would say probably live music, not having that's challenging.
If you were to get a phone call tomorrow, and live music was back, and you could play anywhere that you wanted, where would you play? Anywhere in the whole world?
Oh, I don't know. See, I would love to play it I'd obviously love to play it like a big, huge venue, like one of these ones that everybody's like, wow. But I'd also love to go to like I'm quite pretentious. I can't hide it, but I'd love to go to like a little cafe in Paris or something where like I could just play a random set.
That's cool.
Yeah,
if you could play with anyone in this cafe in Paris, who would you play with?
I think it'd probably have to be David Byrne.
I thought you were going to say that. Okay. And you guys have a rider between you. What's on that rider? Coffee?
I mean, coffee to start with, definitely. I don't know, probably like, see, I don't know, I always get made fun of for this because normally you get a rider, it's like cool people drinks, like it's just like typical
Not
like
necessarily.
beers or ciders, whereas I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get red wine or something like, yeah. So probably red wine, and then David and I can just talk about the world and life, and I can learn from him. We can become best friends.
Cool.
That's the plan.
Nice.
Hopefully.
Are you working on anything at the moment?
I am, yeah. So I work with like kind of session musicians, but they are like my band guys, but they don't. It tends to be like I'll write the songs and take it to them because they're all like professional musicians within their own means. But we've recently got another 2 new band guys.
Cool.
Which is really cool, and we're working on some new stuff. Hopefully to release like the kind of the end of this year, but just depends with COVID. So yeah, that should be cool.
That's cool. Who's in your band? Like, what instruments?
So I've got. It's kind of weird. We had interviews for a drummer. So I've got a drummer called Stephen Buggy who, he's great, and we've only just recently got him in the band like a couple of months ago. We also, when we were interviewing for drummers, we found this guy called Lewis Ross. I always call him Ross Lewis, and I don't know why. Like the first time we had like a kind of band Zoom call, I kept calling him Ross, and everybody was like, "Stop it, change it." He just kind of does a bit of everything. Like he's just kind of like one of these wonder people. So, probably for some rhythm guitar, and he also plays like saxophone, which is cool. I didn't know that. We've got a bassist called Chats, who is just a really cool guy. He's originally from Malawi and he studies in Glasgow. He's really cool. And then I've got a guitar player called Paul Lamberton, sorry. I always call him just Paul, but he's, again, they're all just cool guys. Like, it's annoying that they're all like cooler than me, because I'm just like, no. But thank you. I'm just, when I'm on stage and stuff, especially like with Chats and Paul before when we were still gigging, it was just always like, like they're just like, they don't even have to try, they're just cool guys. So, but yeah, no, they're all great within their own way, and they all bring something different, which is cool.
So if people want to find out more about you, where can they go? What can they do? I mean,
yeah, where can they go? I've got like a kind of website, which is sort of basic, and then Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I suppose like we've got a few different kind of biographies just as sort of little things, but I always just kind of encourage people, if you want to know something, like just message me or whatever, like ask me if you see me walking down the street or whatever. But especially for socials, we've got kind of just information more about this kind of style of music, and yeah, I suppose what the songs tend to be about, which is
what's cool. Your social handle?
Does that mean just like my,
so like, you know, it's like at Megan?
Yeah. So it's Megan Black Music.
Cool, awesome.
So I'm like terrible with this stuff. But yeah, Megan Black Music is the handle.
So we can find out everything we need to know on there?
Yes, I think so.
Thank you so much for giving the time to have a chat. And hopefully when things are a little bit more normal, we can get you back into the studio and do a proper session.
That'd be really cool. Yeah, I'd like that.
Baby, you'll be alright when I leave you. 'Cause honey, I'm the only one that would ever need you. I've watched you grow older in a matter of days at a time, throwing away your life just to erase another line. You told me that love would last forever, and now I see that's only when there's nothing better. The drugs can't help him no more, no more, no more, no more than I more than I can. It's why I'm leaving you to hang out dry. It's why I'm leaving you to hang out dry. Angel, I can't promise you nothing more this time. Our lungs are on fire, our only desire under you. I draw the line. Where did lust go when no one else is broken? Where will I go when you'll be left outspoken? The drugs can't help him no more, no more, no more, no more than I can. The drugs can't help him no more, no more, no more, no more than I can. It's why I'm leaving you to hang out dry. It's why I'm leaving you to hang out dry. We're drawing lines in quicksand and hoping for the snow. So tell me, where did either of us go? My darling, I'm gonna have to leave you now, you know. The love that you've lost, the pain we both caused, well, just let it go. You told me that love would last forever, and now I see that's only when there's nothing better.